Hi everybody, welcome back. Now, going back some time in our video library, long-term subscribers will know I created a couple of videos talking about an LED lighting project, and this is that project right here. These are the original lights that I made all that time ago, and they're still going strong, by the way. The LED project was received very well. Lots of people bought the parts, lots of people had a go at making them, and I was sent lots of messages, lots of pictures from people who have had a go at making their own lights, and lots of success. And a few people have taken the project on and adapted it specifically for their own needs. So it's been a really well received project. There was one downside though to the project. The acrylic tubes that you can see here, they're very expensive. They're even more expensive to ship, and they're quite fragile. I remember when I filmed this, I actually cracked two of these tubes, but thankfully the tubes that I actually made up, well, they've lasted the time. But they are fragile, and I know lots of people have had trouble getting hold of these over the past few years. So it was time to have a look at this project again, and it was time to see if I could do something about the acrylic tubes and see if there was something that I could make. And indeed I have. I've remade the project, and we're using this. And if you haven't worked out what it is already, it's under cabinet trunking used for the kitchen industry. Now, when I originally made the project, I wanted to emulate and replicate popular LED lights which were on the market, and I didn't really consider using this stuff to make up the awning lights. But time has come on. This is now very affordable. It's even cheaper to ship. It's not really fragile, and I think you'll agree, it makes for a very neat project. I've still made mine 1 meter long, and they still work on the same power wiring that I made up all that time ago, but even that's had a bit of an update as well. So without further ado, let's look into this a little bit further. So as discussed, I'll be using aluminium trunking designed for under cabinet lighting. You can buy this in 0.5 meter, 1 meter, or longer the lengths depending on your own design. The link to this and all the other kit I've used is in the video description and also on our Amazon storefront. For today's build, I've chosen 1 meter lengths. The trunking is coloured white, and the trunking also comes with the end caps and the plastic cover that can either be clear or, like this one, slightly opaque to diffuse the light. So onto the LEDs themselves. Now, I've purchased 2 different styles of LEDs to show the difference. One is classed as warm white and the other is classed as cool white. My last set of lights I used were warm white, but I wanted to try the cool light to give a brighter look in the awning. The strip I've chosen is 10mm wide, the size of the LEDs are 50-50, and the strip, by the way, is not waterproofed. It's not so easy to show on camera, but the 2 colours really do make a remarkable difference. The warm white has a warmer, more yellow look to the light, whereas the cool is more blue to look at. But when this is diffused, it looks bright white. And as you can see from this recent picture I took, one single light really does illuminate the entire awning. A few weeks ago, I set a poll on YouTube and asked about the LED project update. I asked if the price, the ease of build, or the customization would be the most welcome in an updated project. And with over half the votes, the ease of build came out on top. So with that in mind, I've assembled the parts together to create the best possible light for minimum effort. I've tried to get parts that required no specialist tools and without a soldering iron, but as I'll show you, the best way to do this is with a soldering iron. There is a variety of ways you can connect the LEDs up to a power source. You can solder wires directly to the strip, or you can buy those clip-on style connectors that simply connect onto the LEDs and connect a power source, and off you go. Now, as I mentioned, I'm using 10mm LED strip, and the clip that you can see here fits that strip and it works really well. However, the connector will not fit inside the chosen trunking. If you choose a narrower LED strip, such as an 8mm, you may be able to get the clips that fit on with some gentle adjustment from a sharp knife or a file. You can of course buy wider trunking to allow these connectors in, but for this project I'll stick with a 10mm wide LED channel and solder the cables on directly. The plugs we're using are 2.1 by 5.5mm pre-wired plugs on a short length of cable. This will make connection far easier and universal for the accessories that I'll show you later on. Right, so without further ado, let's make one of the light strips up. Start by measuring out the correct length of LED strip. The strip can be cut every 3 LEDs or so, and the strip is clearly marked where you can make this cut. You can cut the strip with scissors and it's very easily done. We want to make sure that the strip is shorter than the trunking, obviously, and as you can see, the nearest cut mark makes the LED strip quite a lot shorter than the trunking. Once cut, temporarily fit the LEDs into the trunking and align it so it has the same gap either side. This isn't crucial, but it will be noticeable once finished. I mark the trunking with a pencil and just use a ruler to make sure that the gap is equal both sides. Now peel back the adhesive backing a little at a time and align the very end of the LED strip with the pencil mark that we've made. Push down on the LED to secure the end of the strip in place and work along the strip, pushing as you go, removing more and more of the adhesive backing, and make sure that every LED is laying flat. The next job is to prepare one end cap for the cable entry. You can either drill or remount a hole in the plastic end cap and feed the cable through like this. On the power connection, strip back enough cable to expose a small amount of the wire. Using a hot soldering iron, tin the wire and tin the LED pads. Pay attention to the polarity and connect the red cable to the plus side of the LED strip. There will be markings on the LED strip to show you which is positive and negative. LEDs only work if they're connected the correct way around, so if you get this wrong, it just won't work. Use a pair of tweezers to hold the cable in place and apply heat from the soldering iron to the wire and the pad to make the final connection. You can add some hot glue or a cable tie around the wire to act as a strain relief, and this will prevent the cable coming out if the cable is pulled hard. Before we close up and add the cover, we'll test the LEDs and make sure that they work. So add 12 volts to the power socket and make sure that every LED is lit up. The final task is to add the protective cover. Now start at one end and snap it in place. Move gently along the trunking to the other end. Now you'll notice that the cover is now too long. That's because we've added the end caps. So we need to cut it down to length, and this is dead easy. All you need to do is use a trusty knife and a little bit of patience. With the cover clipped in tight at one end, you can use the end cap to measure how much of it you need to cut off. So using a pencil, line the end cap up with the cover, mark it, and using a sharp knife and a straight edge, score and gently cut. Make many light cuts at this stage to make an accurate, clean cut. Once cut, fit the end cap and voila, it's built. Plug in the light again to test it and make sure you're happy with the end result. Now let's discuss how to fix this in place in the awning. Now, one of the original problems I had with the original lighting setup was how I could make this universal. We're going through a lot of awnings now. We're testing a lot of awnings and different configurations from different manufacturers. And I must say that this setup here worked well for our rollaway awning that we had all that time ago, but it doesn't really work for any of the awnings that we've been testing recently. These straps are just too wide, they don't really hook onto anything, and it just doesn't work. So I've come up with a couple of cunning ideas. On the back of this strip here, you can see that it's a continuous length of Velcro right across the back there. It's 10mm wide, and I'm only using the hook part. Now on the Trinnis awning that we've been recently borrowing, this fits straight in place. It just literally latches on because there's a Velcro strap on the central beam. For the other awnings that we're using, like the Camper or the Vango, that's not a problem. The Vango is even easier. Because we've got this Velcro strip here, I can use those Velcro tie wraps which go around the outside and then hook onto their sky hook system. For the Camper awnings, it's even easier again. Use exactly the same system, a long run of Velcro here. You can put along at any point another Velcro strap, and that goes through the hooks which they have on their accessory rails. It's the same for Prima awnings, and if you've got a poled awning, well, guess what? It's the same system again. This goes up against a pole, Velcro tie wraps go around the pole, and it looks very elegant and very neat. Those Velcro tie wraps, by the way, also work very well for cable management. Sorry. It means you can tie up the cables and wrap them up, and you can get a very neat effect as well. It works really well, to be fair. Originally I had a remote control on off. That worked really well, but it was a bit annoying because if you had something else that was operating on the same sort of frequency, the relay would switch the lights off, and we had many occasions where the lights would switch on and off all by themselves. Nothing wrong with the relay, it was just interference on the radio frequencies that would cause them to switch on and off. So now I've updated it even more. Some of the kits that you can buy ready-made in the shops come with a little remote control and a little device in the circuit which allows you to remotely switch them on and off using RF, and also allows you to dim the lights as well in the awning. Well, you can buy that entire pack, the remote control and the receiver, which fits in line and plugs straight into here. You can buy that entire kit for under £4. So I've added that into this kit as well. Again, like I've mentioned, all the listings for everything is in the description below. So let's go on to the matter of coin. We have got enough here to make up 5 lights. The reason being is the LED strip comes in 5-metre lengths. So I might as well make up as much as I can to make up 5 lights. So here is how it's all broken down. The aluminium strips have worked out as £21.97. That's for 5 1-metre lengths. The LEDs which I've bought here today are £6.99. The Velcro straps are £5.89. The plugs and the sockets, pre-wired and ready to solder, are £3.29. The mains power supply which I'm using is £7.99. Extra cabling, £3.99. And as I've mentioned, the RF controller is £3.59. So just to make up the lights with no extra cabling, no power supply, no RF controller, you're looking at a total cost of £38.14. Divide that by the 5 lights and that gives us a total cost of £7.62 per light, which I don't think is too bad, is it? Now, if we add on the extra bits that I mentioned, the power supply, extra cabling and the RF socket, gives us a total spend of £53.71. And again, if we needed to divide that by the 5 lights, well, that gives us a total cost of £10.74, which I don't think is too bad. That's for 5 lights. Now, like I mentioned, all the parts and all the pieces that you need to make these lights up are in the description below, and I've also added them onto our Amazon storefront as well. Our Amazon storefront, by the way, is set up with groups of products designed to help you along if you want to know your bare essentials that you need for caravanning or projects like this one. I've grouped them all together and it makes it very easy and in a single place for you to know all the bits you need. If you look in there as well, there's also a section there for tools, and I'll go into some of the tools that you need to do this job as well. So, on to customization. What can you do to customize this? Well, you can do whatever you want because it's your idea. If you want the plug coming out of here so you can daisy chain those, well, you can do that. If you want to put brightly colored LEDs into here, well, you can do that as well. If you want multicolored LEDs, for instance, not a problem. You can do it. It's your setup, it's your lights. You do what you want. One thing I am going to do is one of these lights I'm going to make up without the Velcro backing, and instead I'm going to put some holes in there and I'm going to screw this in place inside my wet locker. So I can have this lit up inside the wet locker late at night when I'm fumbling around trying to find a torch and the contents of the interior of the locker. No, I'll have this mounted inside so the entire locker is lit up beautifully for me. I might just cover that off in a future project. Let me know if you're interested to see how I do that one. But I think that'd be quite a fun project to do and a good worthy upgrade for any caravan. So there we go, that's the update to this project. I hope you like it, and I hope you saw the pictures that I took whilst we were away in Burford recently, and you can see how bright this particular light really is. It did a great job and I was super happy with the results in the end. In fact, a couple of people came over and asked me where I purchased this from, and they were amazed when I said, well, I made it. So that's it from me this week. I hope you found this project interesting. Please subscribe to our channel and hit the notification icon as well. That really does help us. And if you've got any questions or queries for me, you know, hit them down in the comments below and I'll be sure to try and answer them for you. Until next time, guys, many thanks for watching. We'll see you very soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Hi, welcome to For the Love of Caravans. I'm Ian.
And I'm Claire. It would be lovely if you joined us on our caravanning adventures.
Here's a little taste of what to expect.